Hey there, welcome to Lazy Introvert Growth. Quick question, has this ever happened to you? You're at a work event, a networking mixer, or even just waiting for coffee when suddenly someone turns to you with that dreaded opener, "So, nice weather we're having, huh?" And just like that, your mind goes completely blank. If you're an introvert like me, small talk can feel like trying to speak a foreign language you barely studied in high school. It's exhausting, seemingly pointless, and something that extroverts just seem to do effortlessly. But here's the thing, small talk isn't just meaningless chatter, it's the gateway to meaningful connections, professional opportunities, and yes, even friendships. The good news? You don't need to become an extrovert to master it. Today, I'm sharing proven strategies to help fellow introverts navigate small talk in a way that feels authentic, manageable, and maybe, just maybe, occasionally enjoyable. Before diving into strategies, let's address the elephant in the room. Why should we even bother with small talk? Many introverts wonder, can we just skip to the meaningful stuff? Well, small talk serves several important purposes that even we introverts can appreciate. First, it's a social buffer. Think of it as the warm-up before the workout. Jumping straight into deep conversation with someone you barely know can feel jarring, like diving into freezing water. Small talk acclimates both parties to each other's communication style. Second, it's a trust-building tool. Research from the University of Michigan found that brief, pleasant interactions actually release small amounts of oxytocin, the same bonding hormone that strengthens relationships. These micro connections create a foundation of basic trust. Third, it's a screening process. During small talk, you're subconsciously gathering information. Does this person listen? Are they kind? Do we have common interests? Your brain is deciding whether to invest in deeper conversation. And here's something many introverts miss. Small talk opens doors professionally. I once landed a major client because we chatted about a local restaurant before the meeting even started. That brief exchange established common ground that made the entire presentation smoother. The reality is, small talk is the social currency that grants access to the deeper conversations we actually crave. It's not the destination, it's the toll booth on the highway to meaningful connection. The first step to mastering small talk isn't learning what to say, it's changing how you think about it. Let's reframe this skill in a way that speaks to our introverted strengths. Instead of seeing small talk as meaningless chatter, try viewing it as a short-term investigation. Introverts are naturally curious and observant. We notice details others miss. What if you approached each conversation as a mini research project? Your mission: discover one interesting thing about this person. Another helpful reframe: think of small talk as social wayfinding. Just as you'd consult a map in an unfamiliar city, small talk helps you navigate the social landscape before deciding where to invest your limited social energy. You might also find it helpful to view small talk through a career lens. Think of it as a professional skill, like spreadsheets or public speaking, that you're developing for specific situations. This removes some of the emotional pressure and makes it more task-oriented, which many introverts prefer. Remember that authenticity beats performance every time. You don't need to transform into a chatty extrovert. In fact, people often find the thoughtful, measured responses of introverts refreshing. Your goal isn't to win an Oscar for best performance as an extrovert. It's simply to create enough comfort to move beyond the surface if the connection warrants it. And perhaps most importantly, recognize that small talk is temporary. Like an airplane taking off through turbulence before reaching smooth cruising altitude, small talk is just the bumpy beginning of potentially rewarding conversations. Let's get into practical strategies that leverage introverted strengths instead of working against them. First, employ the observe and inquire technique. Use your natural powers of observation to notice something genuine about the person or environment, then form a question around it. That's an interesting pin on your jacket. Does it have a story behind it? Or, I noticed you ordered the lavender latte. Is it as good as it sounds? This approach feels more authentic than forced conversation starters and plays to your observational strengths. Second, prepare your conversational toolkit. Having 3 to 5 reliable questions ready prevents that deer in headlights feeling. But here's the introvert hack. Focus on questions that you'd actually find interesting to hear answered. What's keeping you busy outside of work these days? Often yields more engaging responses than what do you do when meeting someone new. Third, use the anchor topic approach. Identify topics you're genuinely comfortable discussing, perhaps a hobby, a genre of books or movies, local restaurants, or travel. Gently steer conversations toward these islands of comfort where you can speak more confidently. For me, asking about local food recommendations almost always creates a natural conversation flow. Fourth, leverage your listening superpower. Introverts are typically excellent listeners. Use this. Practice active listening by occasionally summarizing what you've heard. So, it sounds like your project has been both challenging and rewarding. This shows engagement without requiring constant talking. Fifth, embrace the power of the thoughtful pause. Unlike extroverts who might feel compelled to fill silence immediately, you can take a moment to consider your response. This often leads to more meaningful contributions rather than just conversational filler. Remember, you're not trying to be the most talkative person in the room. Your goal is comfortable, genuine interaction, quality over quantity, which is already an introverted specialty. One advantage introverts have is our tendency to prepare and plan. Let's leverage this strength with some pre-game strategies for social situations. First, information reconnaissance. If you're attending an event where you'll know some attendees, do a quick social media check. What have they posted about recently? Any life updates, new projects, or trips? These can serve as natural conversation starters. Hey, I saw your hiking photos from last weekend. What trail was that? This isn't stalking, it's showing genuine interest in updates they've publicly shared. Second, set realistic social goals. Instead of the vague, I should network, try, I'll have 3 meaningful conversations tonight. Specific, achievable goals help reduce anxiety and give you a finish line. Third, prepare your physical state. Arrive well rested if possible. Choose an outfit that makes you feel confident but comfortable. Consider timing your caffeine strategically. Enough to be alert, not so much that you're anxious. Fourth, script your conversation starters and transitions. Beyond basic questions, prepare transitions for awkward moments. I'm going to refresh my drink. Can I get you something? Or, it was great chatting with you. I should say hello to a few other people, but I'd love to continue our conversation about specific topic later. Fifth, schedule recovery time afterwards. Having decompression time on your calendar, even if it's just 30 minutes alone before your next commitment, makes social events less daunting. And here's a powerful mental trick. Give yourself permission to leave when needed. Knowing you have an exit strategy reduces the feeling of being trapped, which ironically often helps you stay present longer. Having a simple, honest exit line ready can reduce anxiety. I've enjoyed chatting, but I need to head out soon. Let's connect on LinkedIn to continue the conversation. Remember, preparation isn't about creating a rigid script. It's about reducing unnecessary anxiety so your authentic self can shine through. For introverts, social interaction isn't just mentally challenging, it's genuinely energy depleting. Let's talk about managing your social battery during conversations. First, strategic positioning can make a huge difference. At events, choose spots near windows, less crowded areas, or even standing slightly to the side of high traffic zones. This reduces the sensory overload that accelerates energy depletion. Second, practice the micro recovery. Brief moments alone can replenish your energy. A quick bathroom break, stepping outside for a phone call, or volunteering to grab drinks gives you valuable moments to reset. Even 60 seconds of deep breathing in a quiet spot can be surprisingly restorative. Third, use the pulse and pause conversation rhythm. Engage fully for periods, the pulse. Then, create natural transitions to let others speak while you mentally recharge, the pause. When someone asks what you do, give your answer, then immediately bounce the question back. And how about you? What's your role at the company? Fourth, monitor your energy signals. Physical cues like fidgeting, losing focus, or feeling suddenly irritable often indicate your social battery is running low. When you notice these warnings, it's time for a micro recovery or potentially to wrap up. Fifth, remember that hydration and subtle movement help. Sipping water gives natural pauses in conversation, and shifting your weight or subtly stretching can release physical tension that compounds mental fatigue. A technique I find particularly helpful is the bookend method. Start social events with the highest energy activity, perhaps the group introduction or main networking portion, then transition to lower energy interactions like one-on-one conversations with specific people as your energy declines. This allows you to make the most of your limited social energy. Remember, managing your energy isn't being antisocial, it's being strategic so you can be your best self during the interactions that matter most. The ultimate goal for most introverts isn't becoming small talk champions, it's moving past small talk into more meaningful territory. Here's how to transition from weather chat to actual connection. First, master the art of the curious follow-up. When someone shares even a small detail, I just got back from Chicago, instead of simply acknowledging it, ask a specific follow-up. What took you there? Or what was the highlight of your trip? This signals you're listening and interested in going deeper. Second, look for revelation moments, those small disclosures that offer pathways to deeper conversation. If someone mentions they've been crazy busy with the house renovation, that's an opportunity to ask what inspired the changes or what challenge they have encountered. These questions invite them to share more personally. Third, be willing to go first with appropriate self-disclosure. Sharing a relevant brief story or opinion opens the door for others to reciprocate. If they mention a restaurant, you might add, I haven't been there yet, but I'm a huge fan of Vietnamese food since my trip there a few years ago. This gives them multiple threads to pick up if they choose. Fourth, recognize deep talk invitations when they happen naturally. If someone sighs and says, it's been quite a year, that's potentially an opening to move beyond surface chat. If you respond with genuine interest, it really has. What's been the most challenging part for you? Fifth, honor your authentic interests. When you find topics you genuinely care about, your natural enthusiasm will support continued conversation much more effectively than forced chit-chat. Listen for keywords that connect to your interests and gently pivot. You mentioned hiking. Are you into outdoor activities? Remember, the transition from small talk to meaningful conversation isn't about forcing intimacy. It's about creating opportunities for it to develop naturally. As introverts, we excel at depth. The trick is creating comfortable pathways to get there. Let's bring these strategies to life with real-world scenarios and sample scripts you can adapt for your own use. Scenario 1. The office kitchen encounter. You're making coffee when a colleague from another department walks in. Standard approach. Awkward nod, then stare at your phone. Introvert-friendly approach. That meeting ran long, didn't it? I'm desperately seeking caffeine now. Have you tried the new coffee they brought in? This acknowledges shared experience and offers an easy topic. If they seem receptive, I'm Sarah from marketing, by the way. Which department are you with? This creates a natural opening for them to share more professional information if they choose. Scenario 2. The dreaded networking event. You're at an industry mixer, unsure where to start. Standard approach. Hover near the food table, pretending to be fascinated by the crudité arrangement. Introvert-friendly approach. Position yourself near high-traffic areas like the entrance, bar, or food table. When someone approaches, those appetizers look interesting. Have you tried any yet? Or have you been to one of these events before? For a more focused approach, you might say, I'm hoping to learn more about the new regulations affecting our industry. Is that something relevant to your work? This immediately establishes purpose and potential connection. Scenario 3. The social introduction. A friend introduces you to someone at a gathering. Standard approach. Exchange names. Then awkward silence as you search for topics. Introvert-friendly approach. How do you know Linda? This establishes context and often reveals shared interests or experiences. Follow up with, I've been friends with her since college. She mentioned you're into photography. How did you get started with that? This shows you're interested in them specifically, not just making general conversation. Scenario 4. The waiting room. Situation. You're sitting in a waiting room when someone makes eye contact. Standard approach. Quickly look down at your phone to avoid conversation. Introvert-friendly approach. If you're open to talking, I always forget to bring something good to read to these appointments. Learned my lesson today with this 20-minute wait. This acknowledges shared experience without being too personal. Or observe something neutral. I really like the artwork they've chosen for this office. It's more interesting than the usual corporate stuff. This opens the door without pressure. Remember, these scripts aren't meant to be memorized verbatim. They're jumping off points you can adapt to your own voice and situation. The key is having a few reliable formats ready so you're not starting from scratch each time. Even with all these strategies, let's acknowledge the truth. Social interaction, especially small talk, will likely always require more energy from us as introverts. That's why recovery isn't just nice, it's necessary. First, develop post-social rituals that help you decompress. This might be a quiet drive home with your favorite music, a short walk, or simply 15 minutes alone before rejoining family activities. Having a consistent recovery ritual signals to your brain that it's time to shift from social mode back to your comfort zone. Second, practice self-compassion about your social limits. Avoid the I should trap. I should have stayed longer, or I should have talked to more people. Instead, celebrate the connections you did make, however brief. Quality always trumps quantity for introverts. Third, reflect productively, not critically. Rather than replaying awkward moments, ask yourself, what conversation went better than expected? Or, what's one thing I learned about someone tonight? This reinforces positive aspects of the experience. Fourth, balance your social calendar intentionally. After energy-intensive interactions, schedule buffer days or lower-energy social activities with people who don't drain you. I call this social accounting, ensuring withdrawals are balanced with deposits to your energy account. Fifth, remember that recovery isn't lazy, it's essential maintenance. Just as athletes need recovery days for peak performance, introverts need solitude to process and recharge. Respected research from Dr. Lori Helgo and others confirms that this recovery time is biologically necessary for introverts, not just a preference. And finally, acknowledge your growth. Small talk and social skills are muscles that develop with use. Each interaction, however imperfect, is strengthening those muscles. Be patient with yourself through this process. Let's be real. Small talk might never be your favorite activity as an introvert, and that's completely okay. The goal isn't to transform into someone who lives for cocktail party banter. The goal is to develop enough comfort with these interactions that they don't prevent you from forming the connections that matter to you, personally and professionally. Remember that your introversion is a strength, not a weakness. Your tendency toward deeper conversation, thoughtful listening, and meaningful connection means that once you move past the small talk phase, you often build more authentic relationships than those who stay in surface level interaction. The strategies we've discussed aren't about pretending to be extroverted. They're about building specific skills that help you navigate an extrovert-friendly world while honoring your introverted nature. It's about adding tools to your social toolkit, not changing who you fundamentally are. With practice, these techniques become less effortful and more automatic. Many introverts find that while small talk may never energize them, it can become far less draining with the right approaches. So the next time someone asks you about the weather, take a deep breath, remember your preparation, and engage authentically but efficiently, knowing you have the skills to navigate beyond those initial moments into territory that might actually be meaningful, interesting, and worth your precious social energy. What small talk situation do you find most challenging? Let us know in the comments below. You might inspire our next video. If you found these strategies helpful, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more introvert-friendly growth tactics delivered weekly. This is Alex from Lazy Introvert Growth, reminding you that you don't have to be loud to be heard. See you in the next video.